With so much information available in the world today, how are we improving as human beings? You know, the volume of data has been exploding in the past decades. In the past 2 years alone, more data have been created than in the entire previous history of the human race. Sobrang daming data niyan. And the growth of data is growing faster every year. Scientists are saying that by the year 2020, that's next year, there would be about 1.7 megabytes of new information that will be created every second for every person in the planet. By then, the accumulated amount of digital information in the world will grow to 44 trillion gigabytes. Our regular phones would have about 32 gigabytes of storage. Imagine if we multiply that by 1.3 trillion times. And yet, in spite of all the information available to us, are we getting any wiser? I doubt that. People just have more and better access to information, but are no wiser than they were 100 years ago. Because instead of trying to get access to information, we ought to be growing in wisdom instead. And how do you get that? Proverbs tells us, "Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance. For understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." A wise person is not conceited and is willing to listen to others. Most people are too self-assured that they are not willing to learn from other people. Wisdom begins with a humble attitude, knowing that you do not know everything, even if you have access to all the knowledge in the world. And not only that, the accumulated wisdom of the wise men of old, formed into proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise, provide more wisdom than most of the latest books available on online bookstores. But beyond that, what will really set us on a path towards wisdom is the attitude of our heart before God. The proverb said, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge." We begin to be wise when we acknowledge the grandeur and glory, the power, majesty, and authority of the all-knowing, almighty God. As we humble ourselves before Him with a healthy fear of who God is, then we can truly be wise. As we learn how not to be just accumulators of knowledge, but to be truly discerning and wise. As we acknowledge that wisdom comes from God, let us always keep in mind, faith matters too.